Welcome to Rare Coins Numix, where even a simple Roosevelt dime can turn into a life-changing treasure. Some of these dimes, often overlooked in pocket change, have made people rich overnight. Today, we uncover the stories behind the most valuable Roosevelt dimes ever minted, so stick around, you won't want to miss this. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out what looks like an ordinary dime, and suddenly realizing that it might not be so ordinary after all. Among the billions of coins that pass through our hands every day, a few carry hidden stories, secrets of rarity, and the potential to surprise even the most seasoned collectors. And the coin we're beginning with today is one such treasure, the 2016 Roosevelt P dime. At first glance, it seems like every other dime you've ever seen, small, silver-colored, and familiar. It's the coin you drop in a vending machine, used to make change, or forget in the cup holder of your car. But behind this modest appearance lies a story that connects history, legacy, and the fascinating world of numismatics. What makes this dime stand out is not only its connection to Franklin D. Roosevelt, one of America's most influential leaders, but also the fact that certain examples from this very year are known to be incredibly desirable, with some considered treasures that could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple of American currency since 1946, born out of a desire to honor President Roosevelt shortly after his death. Roosevelt was more than a president, he was a symbol of strength, guiding the nation through the hardships of the Great Depression and the global fight of World War II. Beyond politics, he played a pivotal role in championing the March of Dimes, which took aim at polio, a disease that had afflicted him personally. Fast forward to 2016, and the design by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, remained almost unchanged, still holding the same dignified profile of Roosevelt on the obverse, framed by the words Liberty and In God We Trust. On the reverse, the torch, flanked by olive and oak branches, symbolizes liberty, peace, and strength. The Philadelphia Mint, where this particular dime was struck, has long been the heart of American coinage. In 2016, it produced millions of Roosevelt dimes, flooding circulation with coins that most people never think twice about. Yet even among such massive numbers, certain dimes quietly stand apart. The answer lies in the details, condition, anomalies, and the small quirks of the minting process that make some examples far more desirable than others. Collectors know that even modern coins can hide remarkable rarities. When machines strike coins at lightning speed, imperfections sometimes slip through, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, doubled lettering, or even the wrong planchet can create a piece unlike any other. The story of the 2016 Roosevelt P dime is not about rarity in numbers, but rarity in perfection. Out of the vast tide of circulation, only a handful rise to the highest standards of preservation. Imagine a dime so sharp and unblemished that every line of Roosevelt's portrait glows with clarity, every branch and flame on the reverse stands crisp, and its surface sparkles with original mint luster. For a collector seeking the best of the best, such a coin becomes irresistible. Now, think of the journey one of these dimes might have taken. It could have been struck in Philadelphia, scooped into a bag, and shipped off to banks across the country. Perhaps it ended up in a coin roll, waiting quietly in storage. Collectors often speak about the thrill of the hunt. With the Roosevelt dime series, spanning decades since 1946, the challenge isn't just finding the coins, it's finding them in exceptional condition. The 2016 Philadelphia dime presents a fascinating puzzle in that sense. It is common in circulation, yet exceedingly difficult to find in the flawless state that excites serious collectors. There's also the emotional weight it carries. Roosevelt's profile is more than just an engraving. It's a tribute to leadership during one of the most difficult eras in American history. It's a nod to the fight against polio and the success of the March of Dimes, which still exists today to support maternal and infant health. And when such a coin is discovered, it doesn't just sit quietly. It becomes the subject of fascination and excitement among collectors. The combination of modern minting precision and the occasional anomaly, paired with immaculate preservation, creates a scenario where this small coin, the one you might overlook without a thought, suddenly commands respect. What makes it even more intriguing is how recent it is. Usually, when people think of rare or desirable coins, their minds drift to ancient pieces or those minted a century ago. The idea that a dime from just 2016 could capture attention in this way adds a thrilling twist. So, as we begin with this coin, it's worth pausing to consider the possibility that the smallest piece of money in your pocket might be more than it seems. This 2016 Roosevelt P dime, struck in Philadelphia, may not appear different at first glance. But in the world of numismatics, it has already earned recognition as a worthy and fascinating piece, one that, in the right condition, could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. It is a reminder that treasures don't always announce themselves. Sometimes they hide in plain sight, waiting for someone to notice the details. And sometimes, what seems ordinary can reveal itself as something truly remarkable. Up next, we arrive at the fascinating 2005 Roosevelt dime minted in Denver, often referred to simply as the D dime. At first glance, it might look like the countless dimes we've all used for decades, slipped into vending machines, or tucked away in jars. But the closer you look, the more this coin's story unfolds, and the more you realize why collectors give it so much attention. Hidden within this small piece of change lies a remarkable connection to America's coinage history, the artistry of its design, and the surprises that continue to appear even decades after it entered circulation. The Roosevelt dime has been with us since 1946, created to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt shortly after his passing. Roosevelt's face became the centerpiece of this coin, chosen not only because of his legacy as a leader during the Great Depression and World War II, but also because of his work with the March of Dimes, a campaign to fight polio. His connection to the dime was almost poetic, making it one of the most fitting designs in all of U.S. coinage. By 2005, nearly 60 years later, the dime had already cemented itself as a familiar piece of everyday life. The 2005 Denver minted dimes were produced in the hundreds of millions, struck in copper-nickel clad, the standard composition for modern dimes. To the untrained eye, they seem ordinary. But not all coins strike the same path. Among those millions, a few emerged with unique qualities, pristine examples preserved in flawless condition, or pieces with subtle variations in strike and luster that elevate them far above the rest. These rare survivors are the kinds of coins that capture collectors' imagination and spark the hunt through pocket change and rolls of coins. What makes the 2005 D dime so fascinating is how deceptively common it appears. Most people who hold one would never consider it special. Yet collectors know that even in a sea of billions of coins, a handful can stand out as exceptional. That's the magic of numismatics, turning the ordinary into something extraordinary. Sometimes it's an unusual strike, sometimes it's a sharpness in detail that makes one coin rise above the rest, and sometimes it's simply that a coin has survived in nearly perfect preservation against all odds. Imagine, for a moment, the life of a dime. Some are tossed into laundromat machines, others are carried for decades in purses, some are lost between couch cushions, and most end up battered and scratched from a lifetime of circulation. Now think of the few that somehow avoid all that, kept safe in pristine condition from the very moment they left the mint. These are the coins that command attention, and in the case of the 2005 D Roosevelt dime, they have proven to be worthy treasures. Collectors often point to this dime as an example of why careful searching pays off. You could look at hundreds and see nothing remarkable, and then suddenly, one coin shines back at you, nearly untouched by time, its details crisp and edges sharp. That single coin could be the difference between spare change and a collectible worth cherishing. Stories from hobbyists who've stumbled upon such gems in circulation continue to inspire new collectors, reminding us that the thrill of the hunt is alive and well. The Denver Mint mark beneath Roosevelt's neck is a small detail, but it carries weight in the collecting world. It connects the coin to its place of origin, linking it to the massive coin presses of the Denver Mint, which has produced billions of coins over the decades. Each D coin carries that heritage, and for collectors, it becomes part of the coin's identity. In 2005, the Denver Mint's production was enormous, but within that ocean of coins lies the rarity that makes this dime so compelling. And here's where the true excitement begins. When one of these 2005 D. Roosevelt dimes appears in outstanding condition, collectors recognize it as a standout piece. Its shine, preservation, and detail elevate it far above its humble face value of 10 cents. Instead, it becomes a coin with serious collector appeal, one that could be worth tens of thousands of dollars to the right buyer. Some examples of this very dime have been recognized as being worth an astounding $31,000. That's an incredible figure for a coin that most people would assume is just ordinary change. It proves once again that hidden treasures can be found in the most unexpected places. That's the incredible journey of the 2005 D. Roosevelt dime. From a piece most people overlook in their daily transactions to a rare and remarkable find, this coin carries a story that is worth far more than its face value. It's a reminder to all collectors and even casual coin holders that history and value often hide in plain sight. A small detail, a minting quirk, or a preserved condition can turn a simple dime into a life-changing discovery. So the next time you come across pocket change, take a closer look. You never know when a coin like the 2005 D. Roosevelt dime might appear in your hand, carrying not only history but also the potential to surprise you with extraordinary value. Next rare dime of today takes us to the year 1997, a time when the U.S. Mint was producing millions of Roosevelt dimes in Philadelphia. At first glance, the 1997 P dime doesn't strike collectors as anything unusual. It circulated widely, passed through countless hands, and like so many other modern coins, it was often overlooked. But sometimes, among those common strikes, a few coins stand apart, not because they were intended to be rare, but because of the way they survived or the unusual characteristics they carry. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 1 billion dimes that year, making it one of the most plentiful issues in the Roosevelt series. And yet, as history has shown us many times, sheer numbers don't guarantee importance. Instead, true rarity hides in survival rates, die variations, and unexpected minting mishaps. For the 1997 P dime, that's exactly where its story begins to stand out. Some examples of this coin surfaced in conditions so pristine they appear as though they had just left the presses yesterday, untouched, uncirculated, and glowing with their original luster. Collectors know how difficult it is to find dimes from the late 1990s in such flawless preservation, since most were tossed into pockets, jars, and drawers, collecting scratches and wear along the way. Those few untouched survivors are now seen as prized treasures, elevated far beyond their ordinary beginnings. Even more fascinating, certain 1997 P dimes display striking details that separate them from the ordinary. Sharp strikes with bold design features, deep mirrored fields, or dramatic errors, these are the qualities that transform a pocket change dime into a collector's dream. Some error coins from this year include off-center strikes, die cracks, or even doubled features, all of which amplify their allure dramatically. Each one carries a uniqueness that makes it unlike any other dime. Imagine the thrill of stumbling across one of these gems in a coin roll, a bank withdrawal, or even loose change from a store. To the untrained eye, it's just another dime. But to a collector, it represents a rare survivor of modern minting, a piece of American history that slipped through the cracks of circulation and held on to its brilliance. This contrast between what's common and what's truly extraordinary is what gives the 1997 P dime its special place in numismatic circles. That's what makes the 1997 P dime so intriguing. It straddles the line between the ordinary and the extraordinary. It's a coin so common that nearly everyone has handled one at some point, and yet, in the right condition or with the right characteristics, it can leap into the realm of high-value collectibles. That hidden potential keeps collectors searching, inspecting, and hoping to find one of these elusive treasures tucked away in the most unlikely places. For seasoned numismatists, the 1997 P dime represents the joy of discovery, the reminder that modern coins still hold mysteries. For new collectors, it's proof that even a coin as recent as the late 1990s can carry immense excitement and reward. That mix of accessibility and rarity gives this dime a unique charm. It proves that the world of coin collecting isn't limited to centuries-old relics or coins struck in gold and silver. Even the coins you and I have spent can hold surprises beyond imagination. And that rarity has not gone unnoticed in the market. In auctions and private sales, the finest known 1997 P dimes have captured the attention of serious collectors willing to pay astonishing amounts. Stories of remarkable finds circulate in the collecting world, fueling excitement and reminding us that even modern coins can carry surprises. These discoveries inspire countless collectors to keep hunting, flipping through pocket change, and checking old coin jars at home, because the possibility of uncovering one is very real. Some say that's the magic of coins like the 1997 P dime, they blur the line between everyday life and hidden treasure. Every time someone looks closely at a dime from this year, there's a chance, however small, of encountering one of these rare survivors. And that chance is enough to keep the excitement alive year after year. One of these rare 1997 P Roosevelt dimes sold for an incredible $59,000, a staggering leap from its humble face value of just 10 cents. That kind of jump is what makes the world of coin collecting so fascinating, where an everyday object can suddenly become a life-changing discovery. Think about it, a coin that most people wouldn't give a second glance to, something that easily slips through cash registers and vending machines, turned into a prized treasure that collectors were willing to pay nearly $60,000 for. It's proof that rarity, condition, and history all collide to give certain coins an extraordinary destiny. From just a dime in your pocket to a fortune in your collection, this 1997 P Roosevelt dime reminds us that incredible stories are hiding in plain sight. For those with a keen eye and a bit of curiosity, the next valuable coin could be waiting in the very change you receive today. Now let's move on to a coin that might look ordinary at first glance, but as we peel back the layers of its story, you'll see why collectors still chase after it with passion, the 1989 Roosevelt dime with the Philadelphia Mint mark, or the P dime. Think about it, 1989 doesn't feel that far in the past. Many people watching may still remember handling coins from that year, tossing them into vending machines, or saving them in piggy banks without a second thought. Yet among those millions of dimes minted, a very small number carried qualities that would one day elevate them into the realm of numismatic legends. This particular year sits at an interesting point in coinage history. The U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins annually, and technology was advancing, but that didn't eliminate imperfections. In fact, it sometimes magnified them. Collectors today pay very close attention to details like strike sharpness, die wear, and luster, and when it comes to 1989, the Philadelphia Mint's output delivered some remarkable examples that have stood the test of time. The Roosevelt dime itself, as we know, is a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, honoring his leadership and legacy after his passing in 1945. Designed by John R. Sinek, the dime has become a symbol not just of everyday commerce but also of resilience and remembrance. By 1989, it had already been circulating for decades, yet each new year of production carries subtle variations, making certain dates stand out far above others. The 1989 P dime is special not only because of its age, but because the few surviving in pristine condition display razor-sharp details, every line of Roosevelt's hair, every letter of the inscriptions, and a mirror-like shine that makes the coin almost glow. It's the kind of quality that you almost never expect from a coin that was meant to be spent, passed around, and forgotten. Most dimes from that year were used up in everyday life, buying bus fares, cups of coffee, or tucked away in jars on the kitchen counter. Very few escaped circulation long enough to remain flawless. Collectors know this well. Rarity isn't always about how many were minted, but about how many survived untouched. For the 1989 P dime, survival in top condition is painfully scarce. That scarcity is what transforms a humble 10-cent piece into an object of serious value. It's almost like finding a perfectly preserved leaf in a forest where everything else has weathered away. It becomes something extraordinary simply because time spared it. And here's where the story becomes even more fascinating. Some examples of the 1989 P dime didn't just survive in pristine condition, they show off extraordinary eye appeal. Coins with radiant luster, minimal contact marks, and crisp strikes stand head and shoulders above the rest. A few even appear to shimmer under light as if they were struck yesterday. Those are the coins that make collectors' hearts skip a beat, because they're not just survivors, they're masterpieces of modern minting. Stories like this make coin collecting so addictive. Imagine someone discovering a dime like this in pocket change back in the early 90s, setting it aside without realizing its potential, only for it to become a star decades later. That's the magic of numismatics, everyday objects suddenly becoming rare artifacts with stories of their own. One person's pocket change becomes another person's treasure, and history continues to write itself in the process. And when such a coin appears in the open market, collectors are ready to battle for it. Auction houses know how much excitement these pieces generate. It's not just about owning a dime, it's about owning a piece of American history, a piece of luck, and a piece of artistry all wrapped into one. That feeling of holding something so common, yet so uncommon at the same time, is what drives collectors to pay astonishing sums for coins like this. So how much can such a coin be worth today? Brace yourself, because this is where the story takes its most dramatic turn. One of these rare 1989 Roosevelt dimes, preserved in stunning condition, crossed the auction block and shocked collectors worldwide. From a face value of just 10 cents, it soared to a final hammer price that left everyone in awe. That single coin, the size of your fingertip, was sold for a jaw-dropping $70,000. Yes, $70,000. Think about that for a moment. $70,000 for a dime most people would have never looked at twice. What began as an ordinary coin minted in Philadelphia in 1989 transformed into a treasure worth more than most cars, or even the cost of an entire year's college tuition. And that's the beauty of stories like this. They remind us that value doesn't always lie in gold or silver, or in centuries-old relics. Sometimes, it hides in plain sight, in the smallest coin you might have jingling in your pocket right now. The 1989 Roosevelt dime is living proof that even the most ordinary coin can carry an extraordinary destiny. From pocket change to a life-changing fortune, this dime is a powerful reminder of why collectors keep searching, always wondering if the next great discovery is sitting right under their nose. Moving on to our fifth and final discovery today, we arrive at what truly stands as the crown jewel of this entire journey, the 1983 USA 1 dime D. At first glance, this coin might not look extraordinary. It's small, it's light, it's the kind of coin most people would barely notice in their pocket change. But behind that ordinary appearance lies a story that places this dime above all the others we've uncovered in this video. This isn't just another find, this is the top prize, the kind of coin that changes the way collectors view an entire year of minting. The year 1983 was an interesting one in American coinage. For most people, it was business as usual, coins entered circulation, used daily without a second thought. Yet for collectors looking back decades later, 1983 became a year that hid a remarkable treasure. The Denver Mint, known for its efficiency and massive production numbers, struck millions of Roosevelt dimes that year. Most went straight into circulation, buying bus tickets, slipping into vending machines, passed across counters, or rattling around in drawers and pockets. But in the midst of this flood of coinage, a handful of dimes managed to separate themselves from the rest. Whether by minting perfection, storage in untouched rolls, or sheer chance, a tiny number would go on to survive in such remarkable condition that they later stunned the numismatic world. Think about the odds. More than 40 years have passed since these dimes first rolled off the presses at the Denver Mint. In that time, almost every single one has lived a rough life. They've been scraped against other coins, dulled by circulation, marked by scratches and nicks, and worn down until their luster disappeared. Yet somehow, against all expectation, a select few emerged unscathed, untouched, uncirculated, and gleaming with the same brilliance they had on the very day they were struck. Those are the coins collectors dream of finding, and those are the coins that transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. Here's what makes this story even more fascinating: rarity in coins isn't just about how many were minted. Tens of millions of 1983 D dimes were made. Rarity comes from survival. How many are left today in that perfect, untouched state collectors demand? That's the fine line that separates a common dime from a true treasure. And when it comes to the 1983 D Roosevelt dime, that line is razor thin. Adding to its allure, some examples also carry unique qualities, sharp strikes with flawless details, bold features in Roosevelt's portrait, and in a few cases, even minting quirks or errors that slipped through unnoticed. These details are what elevate this dime beyond being just another coin. They transform it into a story frozen in metal, a mystery of chance, history, and survival. As we close out today's lineup of rare finds, this coin takes its rightful place at the very top. It's not just the final coin of the day, it's the highlight, the ultimate discovery, the one that defines the entire journey. Imagine the electricity in the auction room when one of these rare dimes finally appeared. Collectors knew exactly what they were looking at, and every raised paddle carried with it years of passion, research, and desire. The bidding grew more intense, the price climbed higher and higher, until it reached a point no one had dared imagine. And then came the silence. The room paused as the auctioneer's hammer fell. What had started its life as a humble 10-cent piece had just rewritten the story of what a modern dime could be worth. That single 1983 D. Roosevelt dime sold for an astounding $77,000. Yes, $77,000, written out in words to let the weight of that number truly sink in. A coin once destined for pocket change had risen to the value of luxury cars, dream vacations, and even the kind of down payment that could buy a house. It's staggering to think of how such a small, everyday object could achieve such life-changing value. And with that, this final discovery doesn't just conclude today's journey, it crowns it. The 1983 D dime is proof that hidden treasures are still out there, disguised as the most ordinary things, waiting patiently to be revealed. It reminds us all that sometimes, the greatest prizes don't come in the form of gold bars or jewels, but in something as simple as a dime, small, unassuming, yet priceless once its story is uncovered. This remarkable coin shows that history, rarity, and mystery can live in the palm of your hand. It's the kind of find that inspires both seasoned collectors and curious beginners to look a little closer at the coins that pass through their fingers each day. Because who knows? The next great treasure might be sitting in your pocket right now, just waiting to be discovered. Every coin has a story, and sometimes that story can change everything. So as we close today, we hope you enjoyed this journey into the fascinating world of rare coins. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it with fellow collectors, and most importantly, subscribe to our channel for more exciting discoveries, stories, and hidden treasures from the world of numismatics. Thank you for joining us today, and until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and remember, history might just be hiding in the change you carry.